Six-figure speed run, and we're gonna get straight into it. But one's in the chat if you can hear me. And let's do the screen share. Let's go. So a little bit about myself. I've actually been selling online for over 15 years. 15 years now. I actually started in 2010. When I created my eBay account on my 16th birthday. So that was my first experience with selling online. I remember the exact product it was bronze shaver heads, and we bought these from a wholesaler, and I used to think I paid about £2 for them. We were selling for about £12 per unit. Ever since then, it's evolved quite a lot, the e-commerce space. This current business that I'm running right now is Amazon, mostly wholesale, and just started PL with Amazon and TikTok, and we've done over 2 million in sales doing this. And myself, over the past 5 years, I've had multiple I've sold on multiple e-commerce platforms, and I've used different strategies to sell on these as well. So a couple of these include retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, brand direct, bundles, private label, and I've overcome quite hard challenges as well. I've been suspended on multiple platforms. I've managed to get my accounts back. So in terms of e-commerce, I've got a lot of experience, and I've been doing it for a very long time. And something more recent over the past few years I've been doing is TikTok Shop. So I'm going to explain a little bit about the business model today. We have a partner and one of our coaches on the webinar as well, so he's going to explain a little bit about how to start. And I've actually been helping people make money online for the past 5 years. I started Sally University with just to help friends and family make a little bit of money on the side. Back then it was with StockX, eBay. You can see a couple of the screenshots over here, and now the community has grown to over 1,000 people, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So we've taught over 125 students we've mentored. A couple of the screenshots we've got here: £10,000 in the first 3 months, 2K in the first 30 days. I've had thousands of people on my free calls. We've generated multiple 7 figures by our students, and yeah, I try to give as much free content as possible. I go live on TikTok every single day, and we do a live webinar every single month. And here's just some more screenshots from my Discord server. And what I want to show you guys today is why doing a side hustle in 2026 is so important. So if you compare, I've got a Ford Transit over here on the slide, and if you compare a Ford Transit in 2006, it was £16,000 brand new, and now if you were to buy a Ford Transit, it'd be £32,000. So the cost of probably one of the most popular vans in the UK that tradies and I guess anyone running a business uses is gone up by 100%. But if you compare this to people's salaries have only gone up just about 50%. And again, if you compare rent in the UK in 2006, it was just under £500 per month, and if you were to compare rent now, it's nearly £1,400 a month, which is nearly a 200% increase. But the problem is the salaries haven't increased. The salaries have only gone up by 50%. So what the average salary was in 2006, which was about 26 grand, now is only 36 grand. So it's not gone up as much as it should have, which means there's a massive demand for people trying to make extra money or multiple people working in the same household. But the problem arises is when people start to have families, children involved, childcare gets expensive. Like, you need a supplementary income. You need something to do on the side that can only make you, maybe it's only £500 or £1,000 a month, but it's completely doable with the business models we have today. And I want to explain a little bit about the corner shop, right? So if anyone wanted to start a business 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, they'd have probably go down the corner shop route. But the problem with this is it had a very high startup cost, hundreds of thousands of pounds. You were limited to sell it only in your local area. You had to be in a physical location, and you had 30k stock up front, 5k to set up, maybe you need about £10,000 for staff. Now, if you were to compare this today, if you can start a business, you don't need to have a corner shop to start a business online, and you can actually have a worldwide customer. Basically, you don't have to limit yourself to the locality like the corner shop would have, which corner shop would have. You don't have to pay rent because you can do it from home. You could pretty much do it from anywhere in the world, and you can start a business with your own brand, your name, for £2,000. You can actually probably start it for a lot less. We've seen students start for £700, and there's only a couple of things that you need: a few softwares, a Seller Central account or a TikTok Shop account, maybe a couple of £100 to set up, and you don't need any staff. So yeah, laptop, 3 to 5k, 1 to 2 hours a day, and you're set. You can start a business. And that's the business model I explained around. But when you're looking at starting a business nowadays or a side hustle, there's a couple of common ones I get quite asked about, especially on my lives. So I'm going to address some of them today. So the number one is drop shipping, right? So the problem with drop shipping is it's so low barrier to entry. Anyone can create a Shopify store. You don't have control because your supplier is going to ship the products. You don't know if the quality is going to be as the quality you receive on your test orders. You don't have customer trust. You have low margins, platform restrictions, no asset value, high stress. Dropshipping was brilliant 10 to 15 years ago, but if you want to start this business model in 2026, people want high quality products, next day delivery, and they want the best customer service, and that's where these platforms shine. Another business model that is pretty common on Instagram, people selling courses, is an arbitrage agency. Some people even call it a halal arbitrage agency. And all this is selling a service and outsourcing delivery. But the problem with this side hustle is that you need to spend hours and hours a day doing cold DMs, which means it's not passive. You're putting in a lot of work. It's basically like a sales door-to-door job that I used to do 10, 20 years ago. And the next one that has become pretty popular is influencer marketing. Every man and his dog on Instagram is trying to tell you how to start your own social media agency or influencer market agency. And the problem with this, and before I tell you what it is, before I tell you the problems, what it is you're using someone else's audience to promote an offer, and you're being the middleman. The problem with this is, especially if you've never done this kind of business before, you don't have the control, you're not actually building an asset, it's not passive again, you need to spend hours a day, and you need to build trust, and if you've got no experience in this industry, it's very hard to do. Which leads me on to the business model that you should be doing, which is e-commerce. And if you look at some of the figures, in 2015, 11% of everything sold was online, and in 2025, this increased to 20%. So 1 out of 5 products bought was actually bought online. And if we could continue down this trend, then by 2035, over 30% of everything sold will be online. And this is just an article showing that a lot of shops, physical retail shops, are closing because of the demand for people buying products online. So the next one is Amazon FBA. So that's probably the most common e-commerce platform people talk about. And yes, I've been doing this business model for nearly 10 years now. I first started Amazon in 2016. I was doing FBM, we were selling phones. More recently, the business I was doing, I started in 2021. And the problem with Amazon FBA, with the business models that I've tried, is that number one, if you're reselling products, you can't resell products forever, because ultimately there will come a day when the brands will be selling the products themselves on the platform. It'll be harder to find high margin products, and if more people do it and the barrier to entry becomes really low, then it's kind of a dead business model, in my opinion. And that leads you on to private label. Why not just do private label, import products from China? Yes, this is a fantastic business model, but what used to work 10 years ago when you could order generic private label products from China doesn't really work anymore, because the Chinese have caught on to this, and what they're actually doing is they're sending products directly from their manufacturers in China to the fulfillment centers in Amazon. Now, this just cuts out us middlemen, and that leaves no margin for us, right? that leads us on to a couple of other business models in the Amazon space, which arbitrage, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, wholesale. This is fantastic, and I've actually made hundreds of thousands of pounds actually doing this. But the problem came about around 3 to 4 months ago. Amazon have really clamped down on restrictions and the different brands you can sell on the platform, which means that if I were to sell, for example, Dove, Amazon now required 100 units to ungate the product so you can sell it. And number one, you're spending a lot of money up front, and sometimes people are buying 100 units, submitting the invoice, and they're not even getting accepted, so they're just stuck with products that they can't sell. So what do we do then? So what I'm going to show you today is how to start a business that uses two combinations, so TikTok's virality and Amazon's trust. And a little bit about TikTok Shop. I first started TikTok Shop 2 years ago when I was an affiliate. So I was actually promoting a product, and we did 3 videos a day for 30 days, and one of them videos went viral. Literally just took one video to go viral, and that video generated me £2,500 in commission. So that's £2,500 in my pocket, and that generated the brand £12,000 in revenue. So God knows how much profit they made, but one video that took me 30 minutes made this much money. So this kind of sparked an interest in my mind. All we need is one video to go viral to make this amount of money. What if you have multiple videos that went viral and we actually create a proper brand around this? And this is exactly what I've been trying to do. And trying to sell on TikTok is like trying to do dropshipping 15 years ago, eBay 20 years ago, Amazon 5 to 10 years ago. You're early to an opportunity. So TikTok Shop has only been around for a few years. It's still in its growth phase, and we've got an opportunity to capitalize on the market. So people buying from short form content, 30 to 60 seconds. And this is where we have created the multiplier method. So we can create a product or a brand that has low saturation, low ad spend, low startup costs. You don't need to show your face. You can do it from home, and you don't even need to leave your job. You can do it with just a couple hours a day. And a couple of people that have actually done this is Modern Wisdom Podcast, Chris Williamson, James Smith. They launched a productivity drinks company, and that in just 1 week has generated £43,000 in sales, and has now become the second largest energy drink company on Amazon. And a popular one that everyone has seen as well is Sunna Supplements. So you've probably seen the brother posting a lot of videos, and again, he's generated all of his revenue from short form content. So in the last 7 days, they've generated £80,000 in sales, and on Amazon, they've actually made £100,000 in the past 30 days.
My name is Dawood. I've been working with Yamin.
And this is a couple of, so we're just showing a little bit about what our students have done. So one of our coaches, one of our partners, actually mentored 5 students late last year. They had a 100% success rate, 5 out of 5 brands launched, and sales made within 90 days. We've got December students that came on. We've got test orders coming through for them. We've got the logos designed for some of them. We've got packages coming through, and some of them have actually placed the orders already. It's literally been just over a month. And January students, they've started to look at opportunities, sourcing. We're vetting the ideas that they're pulling through, and which are working out the profitabilities to making sure that they're actually making good margins on their products. So the multiplier method definitely works. We've used it ourselves. We've taught people how to use it, and we're seeing popular influencers actually use this model as well. And that leads me on to the product I'm launching right now. So just a bit of research on here. The product that I'm launching generates 4 million a month on Amazon, and we're looking at Google Trends over here. Over the past 5 years, it's been trending upwards, and on TikTok Shop we can see some of the top selling brands generating tens of thousands of pounds per month. That leads me on to our partner Yamin, who's going to explain a little bit more about himself, and he's going to run you through exactly how to start your private label business today.
Awesome. Thanks. Give me just a second. Turn that down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share screens on this one and present from here. Okay, turns out I can't do it this way. Right, I'm going to have to face this way. So give me a moment. So can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Awesome, right. So if I start by sharing screen, sorry guys, you won't be able to see my face whilst I'm presenting. But cool. So quick introduction on me. So I've been doing private label for just over 6 years now. It says 5 years on there. And for myself and others, I've now created over 30 brands. I've been an official TikTok Shop partner for 3 years. So that has given me a ton of exposure to not just my brands and my niche stuff I'm interested in, but where I've managed loads of other clients, hundreds of other clients over the last 3 years. It's given me exposure and put me in a position where nobody else can really get that much exposure as I could, because I've done agency work for so many years. I've launched a lot of brands. In fact, one of the first few I launched, which I'll go into a bit further down in this presentation, did £1 million. And yeah, I've taught everything. I've learned everything myself from scratch over the last 6 years. So I've made loads of mistakes, which I teach all the students like what to avoid, what to do correctly. Going from what is a good product to source, how do you do correct branding and graphic design, all the way to how do you get your marketing done. So here are some examples of some brands which I launched and did the marketing for. So a lot of you might have heard about Shilajit. It was a product that not a lot of people knew about 3 years ago. Now, when we launched Shilajit, there was very little competition. There was maybe like 1 or 2 other sellers. Spent a few £1,000s on starting up, and I can zoom in here, right? So I was prepping Shilajit. The jars were coming from China. Shilajit came from India, and it was just being prepped on this table. Now, this table was a £1 million business. I got the labels printed in the UK, and like, here's an example of the content shoot we were doing. And yeah, essentially we launched on TikTok Shop, absolutely smashed it, spent a load of money on very good ads, very good creatives, and this brand blew up. And we kind of from there grew the Shilajit market to what it is today with hundreds of other sellers. Now, moving on to one of my favorite examples of, this is my favorite private label brand. So those of you that might have seen me before, I love talking about this one. So Crystal Apiary is my favorite honey brand because I spent less than £1,000 to build this brand. And the story behind it was, I found a product which had ambiguous value, which was honey. And I saw that other sellers were selling honey for a premium price, £20. And in my head, I thought, you know what? Raw honey is raw honey. So if I just get nice branding, I can do the same thing. So I went out and I bought 200 jars of honey for £2.50 each. So the honey cost me £500. I spent a couple £100 on getting some labels, custom printed labels, and some boxes. See, this is what the products look like here. And all the content was faceless. So you can see here, nobody knew this was my brand. I did the content faceless, the live streams faceless, and this brand went from several £100 startup in month 1, so less than £1,000, all the way to £15,000 in month 3. That is enough to leave your full-time job and solely focus on your business. So I love to use this example because it's something everyone's capable of doing if they find the right opportunity, get the right branding done, and obviously do the marketing correctly. And you can do it faceless with little capital. So yeah, this is just one of many examples. I have other examples of brands which I started for less than 1K and they went on to do 5 figures in a very short amount of time. So the other bit of experience, so there's a couple of brands which I've done, right? So I want to move on to my e-com experience as an agency. So there's not a lot of people out there who are an official TikTok Shop partner. So for the last 3 years, I've worked with hundreds of clients from all sorts of industries. So not only have I learned from my experience, my mistakes, and the people around me. But as a full-time job, working with hundreds of other entrepreneurs, I've learned what works for them, and I've implemented that into teaching our students what to do and what not to do. So I have this huge knowledge bank to share with everyone, and that's my USP essentially. That I've launched my own brands, I've taught others how to do it successfully, and I'm an official TikTok Shop partner, working as a marketing agency, helping loads of other brands. So I have a ton of experience in brand collaborations and building brands up on the platform. So what do we offer? What is our private label mentoring? What does it look like for our students? So the whole process is 3 months, and that is a long time. And that's because it does take a long time to get everything done correctly. So in month one, we just source, we just do sourcing, we don't rush any decisions. I'll tell all of our students, look, you need to source a product which is cost of goods £5 or less. Why do I say that? It means if we've got a product that's £3, for example, and we send out 100 samples, that's only going to cost us £300. If we've got a product that's cost of goods of £10, we send out 100, that's £1,000. As a small business, that extra £700 could be, an extra whole month of saving for you. So we like to keep cost of goods less than £5. We like to source products which appeal to a wide audience, which are easy for affiliates to promote, which ideally are repeatable purchases from customers. They're going to get the product, enjoy it, consume it, and then get it again. All of these things I will tell the students to go out and source. I'll then show them how to find suppliers. So I've got 10 sourcing methods, which include your typical Alibaba. It could be scrolling on TikTok. It could be using a variety of different softwares. And the students will go out and they'll find products using those sourcing methods. We then give them the text templates and what questions to ask the suppliers, obviously about MOQs, branding, all that kind of stuff. So the students know exactly what they're looking for and what questions to ask. From there, we then move on to the test order, where we wait for the product to come, and that leads us on to branding. So month 2 is branding, where we cover everything to do with names and logos, what softwares and AIs you can use to maybe help you generate your branding image, your listing images, all that kind of stuff, how to correctly do your trademarking, how to get your packaging made, what are the legal labeling requirements, and what's the regulatory side of, launching a food business or a cosmetics brand. So I've got experience in all of those different categories. So it makes it very streamlined for somebody to just say, oh, yeah, man, I want to start a cosmetics brand. I already know all the regulations behind starting a regular cosmetics brand. And of course, if you're not good at branding, then obviously getting it outsourced to the correct people so they can get your graphics designs done. So that is month 2. Now, what me and Sue have found is a lot of, the few mentors that are out there, they kind of finish mentoring around here. Now, the way we've structured our mentoring is that you get weekly group calls with a heavy element of one-to-one support. So at any moment, our students can reach out to me one-to-one, and I'll jump on a call and I will vet the whole business as if it's my own. So knowing that I've essentially built this brand with you for month 1 in sourcing, month 2 of branding, there should be no reason that I shouldn't teach you month 3 of operations and marketing. I believe in all the students' businesses as much as they believe in it. So we teach the students exactly how to get sales on TikTok Shop. And this is also where a big USP of myself comes in. I've been doing TikTok Shop agency work for the last 3 years, full time. So I know all the ins and outs and secret tips of getting sales on TikTok Shop. So that is a full A to Z kind of program that we've got that lasts 3 months. So moving on to the opportunity. Oh, Sue, sorry, this is your part. I'll give you a moment here.
No, it's fine. You kind of went through this already. So cost of goods below £5,
Yeah,
75% gross margin, small size for cheap shipping, targets a wide audience. I just literally did 5 minutes of research before, and I typed in creatine on TikTok Shop, and I typed in creatine on Alibaba, and you can see like the price differences, the margins, etc.
Cool.
A little bit about the sourcing. Yeah, again.
Shall I I'll carry on from here. So yeah, so like I mentioned, sourcing. So examples here, I'll zoom in for you. Honey business, which I mentioned earlier. I was selling acacia honey in jars. I expanded this business to sell 9 variations of honey in the end, before I sold the shares off. But here's an example of how I scaled it up. I was buying honey from a local beekeeper, and then where demand, I kept selling out. I ended up buying pallets and pallets of honey, all sorts of different variations. There was soft set honey, we had rose honey, cocoa honey, we had honeydew honey. There's quite a few different variations of honey. I've also spent a ton of money. I've got pages and pages of orders on Alibaba. I've probably spent over 6 figures on Alibaba sourcing. It's a great place to find, obviously, cheap, but somewhat good quality, like electronics and that kind of stuff. So I'll teach all the sourcing methods for the students to go out and do. Obviously, we teach students how to get their trademarking done, because that can be a bit nerve-wracking for people who have done it the first time. And in fact, I was actually sharing Sue this the other day, examples of how you can incorrectly do your trademark, and doing it incorrectly, which a lot of people do, you risk losing your listings to somebody who can hijack it by trademarking correctly with your own brand. And there's not really much you can do when that happens. So we cover the trademarks ins and outs. How to obviously get a barcode. Something that's overlooked is, once you've got a product, where does the barcode come from? So we cover exactly how that's done. It is through GS1, which is the largest database for barcodes, and they're recognized by all the largest retailers like Amazon, TikTok, and all the supermarkets. So barcodes, we cover logo design. Again, there's a heavy element of, you can use softwares to help you with this. I get inspiration from loads of other places, from other brands. So that's all covered. Here's some examples of some of the brands which I have done my own branding for. So we've got Asera here. This is my hair oil brand. So all of this was custom branded by myself. I didn't pay anyone to do it. It took a long time. We've got some RGB lights up here as well for one of the brands which I launched a couple of years ago. And of course, you can outsource. So methods to outsource branding if you don't know how to. So we mentioned on here, right? Once you've got a brand, how do you actually get the sales? So this is key information. Marketing on TikTok Shop. You got 6 ways to make money on the platform. You can do main page content. That is content which you post to your own channel. And the reason that's so good is because you don't pay any affiliates, any commission. So your profit margins are higher. You've got the shop tab / product card, which is where TikTok, it's basically TikTok shopping page. Affiliate marketing, which we all know, that's where creators will post videos after they receive a free sample from you. We've got live streaming, self-explanatory, tap links, which I'll go into in a bit more detail a bit further on. And of course, using ads to scale up any of these that works. So going into what I just said, main page content, you can do this faceless. It costs you nothing to produce content. So you absolutely should be posting as much as you can. You've got higher margins, as I mentioned. You've got no affiliates taking any commission. So when you do get a video that does well and you run ads on it, you've got even more room to boost the ad spend and make more revenue because you got better profit margins. And of course, with all this content you're posting, you're going to build a following, which is great for building a brand. This is what the shop tab product card looks like. So this is just the general shopping page for TikTok. Everything that you do, TikTok is going to be profiling you, and they will recommend certain products to you that they think you'd be interested in. We've got affiliate marketing. So here's a few examples of some of the affiliates that I know who post amazing quality videos. And here's just an eye-opener for you guys for what can be achieved in terms of affiliate marketing. So one of my affiliates, I sent them a product and they did a video on it, which went viral. That video in 7 days done £102,000 in revenue. £102,000. They made £12,300 in commission. So affiliate marketing, as you guys know, people can make a full-time income out of this. That video was posted probably a year ago. And to this day, it's probably still making them sales. So that is essentially affiliate marketing. Do that on a mass scale. You get a load of content made for you. And it's kind of like the lottery where a video can randomly go viral and all of a sudden the next day you wake up and all of your stock is sold. We got live streaming. A few ways to do this. I'll zoom in again. So as I mentioned before, you can do faceless live streams. So this is the honey business, which I mentioned earlier. You can see I had 105 viewers in here and I was just playing around with the honey in teaspoons. And this was generating me roughly around £400 to £500 per hour in revenue. If I scroll down as well, oh, you can see as well. So the honey, we were selling it for £14, down from a sale of RRP of £18. And this was honey that I was just buying for a few pounds and putting my own branding on it. And that is what gave it value. We can use affiliates to do live streams. So here is an affiliate promoting the honey. There's agencies, so they can do very professional live streams for you. And you've got key live streams, which is insane. So key live streams happen on big event days like Black Friday, Christmas, summer, you name it. But that's a day where you build up a lot of hype to get people interested in your live, and then you do a huge sale selling everything. And yeah, the orders can be enormous. So moving on to the next slide. Tap links. I said I would go into this, right? So tap links are an amazing way of scaling up your brand. So if you guys already exist on TikTok Shop, then you need to be doing tap links. So let me explain, right? Let's say you launch a brand. Your sale price for a product is £19.99 and you give 10% commission. So creator's going to get, £2 commission, £1.99. Now you reach out to hundreds of creators, but only 40 accept your request. Only 40 request a free sample because you're a nobody. You've got barely any reviews. Your ratings aren't that, you've barely got any ratings. And you've not sold that many units. So the creators are looking at your product like, if I promote this, it's not really trending, so there's no point. So even though your profit per unit, looking at these numbers, is £5.20, you only get 40 collabs, and that generates you 100 sales, so you got £520 profit. Now, using an agency, what you can do is you can boost that commission up from 10% to, let's say, 17%. Now, what that does is your profit per unit is going to go down. But because you're giving the agencies a cut, an extra percentage, the agencies are going to push your product out to all of their creators. Now, those creators are going to use that link because, number one, the agency can modify that 17% commission link to give creators a bonus 2%. So creators are, oh, I'm getting 12% instead of 10%. I'm going to use this link because it is better. And also, where it comes from an agency who's reputable and the agency have built a relationship with the creator, they're way more likely to promote your product than if you were to message them directly. So your profit per unit goes down. However, you get 200 creator collaborations, which generates you 500 sales, and your profit turns out to be £1,895. So that is essentially the essential mechanics of tap links. And the joy of it is you can actually do this with as many agencies as you want. And it's a great way to scale up. So that is method number 5. And finally, we've got ads. Of course, whatever works, we're going to be putting a lot of ad spend behind it, whether it's live streams, your main page content, whether it's, you've got one affiliate who's making amazing videos for you and they keep posting, and then, the sales are really going up and up and up, then it might be worth getting them on a retainer and paying them to continue to post, So these are all, these are ways you can spend money essentially on ads to up your sales. Right, I'm going to go into the profitability of TikTok. So this blows a lot of people's minds, especially the FBA sellers. As a new brand owner, when you join TikTok Shop, you're given 90 days free fulfillment for up to 15,000 orders. Can you imagine how much money that is? 90 days, 15,000 orders, free storage, free fulfillment, picking, packing, all done for you, and customer service handled for you. And then you might think, oh, wow, that is, that's amazing. But what happens after 90 days? It's got to spike, right? Let me show you the fees after 90 days. So if we look at item category, let's look at this small parcel, right? 40 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 15 centimeters. I know that Royal Mail, if I ship this Royal Mail, it will cost me about £3.45, 48-hour tracked. With FBT, to ship that same parcel is only £1.08, including VAT. And you can see you can ship a 30 kg parcel, 30 kilograms for £3. It's just insane. So all sellers should be utilizing FBT because the rates are just so much more affordable. Your profit margins go up. You can sell cheaper to customers, and that's why a lot of people are, in fact, choosing TikTok over places like Amazon, because things are just cheaper because the platform fees are cheaper and shipping is cheaper for the merchants and sellers, so they can reduce the price. Cool. So yeah, Sue, I will let you take it from here. Can't hear you though, Sue.
Let me get you back on there.
Awesome.
Awesome. There we go. So that leads me on to working with myself. So I mean, you could take the information that you've learned on this webinar to implement yourself. We've given so much free info, how to launch a brand, how to find the opportunities, do everything, the logos, the branding, the marketing. So you can use this, make the test orders, get your products ordered with your brandings and your logo on them, and use the methods that we've taught on here to market the product and to sell your product. However, if you want to learn from us and you want us to help you and hold your hands through the whole process, what you can do, you can book a free strategy call, which is in the link down below. So our calendar's open for the next couple of days. It's going to be with myself and Yamin. So yeah, that's free as long as you've got £2,000 to £5,000 to invest in your product, and you're willing to start and you're willing to put in the effort, a couple hours a day to make a change and to actually start your e-commerce brand. Then book a call down below. We can guide you. This is not a sales call. You don't have to buy anything on the call. We'll give you free advice. If mentorship or you want to work with us is something you want to do, we can guide you through the process and exactly how it works as well. That leads me on to the Q&A. So if anyone's got any questions, we've got around 20 minutes for you to ask. And yeah, where are you? Is your camera on, Yamin?
I can turn it on.
There we are. Right. Do you recommend keeper sourcing? So one of the sourcing methods that you can use, that I've used in reselling, is using Keeper and Keeper Product Finder. You can actually change the filters on there to find private label products. So you can put subscribe and save products on there. Listings that don't have Amazon on there, you can just put one seller, so you're just looking at third-party sellers. So yeah, you can use Keeper sourcing if you're looking for private label products. I've never sold anything online before. I think 80% of the people that we talk to and that we work with, that we help, that are on our Discord server, have never sold anything online before. So you don't necessarily have to have experience. What about for like normal FBA arbitrage? So if you've got experience selling on Amazon and doing arbitrage and wholesale, it's fantastic because you'll be ungated, you'll be able to sell a lot of brands. However, if you're a new seller and you're trying to resell on Amazon, you're going to have a lot of restrictions in terms of ungating. So you're going to need to submit invoices, you need to submit for 100 units. And what we're finding over the past few months is that Amazon are being really strict on ungating. So I think for beginners to start a business these days, it's better to just start with your own brand and your own label and sell on multiple platforms as well. That way you don't have to deal with any of these issues that are happening. What if you don't know what to sell? That's exactly what we'll help you do. So we'll have, typically we say like you'll have a month to source products, and you can use different strategies. Worst comes to worst, like we'll sit with you on a one-to-one and we'll help you source a product, or we actually have opportunities for people to actually buy products off from us or buy ready to launch brands. How can we get helium 10 for cheaper? Use my link. But helium 10 is quite expensive. If you really need to use helium 10, you want to do your keyword research, you want to use Cerebro, Magnet and stuff, just pay for a month, use what you need to do, and then just cancel the membership. How can I become affiliate? Do I need lots of followers? One for you, Yamin?
So how can you become an affiliate? You do need 1K followers. So I would recommend that, but before you even start to make content, you need to learn how to make good content, because quite often creators will go into making content really badly to begin with, and that sets your account off the wrong foot. You're going to get really bad traffic for a very long time. It will take you ages to correct it, just the way the algorithm works. So number one, learn how to make good content. I'd recommend doing vlogs and that kind of stuff to get yourself to the 1K followers. Then you can request access to become a TikTok Shop affiliate. You should get approved. And after that, like, I'd say it's pretty easy to get samples, even when you've got 0 sales. A lot of small business owners, they do check your content quality and they don't just look at your sales. So if you've got good content, then yeah, you can, that's the best way to go. Start making videos from products you already have at home, and just post those. And then, yeah, that's how I would start a career as an affiliate creator.
Another question for you. Tips on getting started. Someone who's just got that analysis paralysis.
Tips on getting started. I think, obviously, you've done an amazing job just joining this webinar, right? Because I've shown you exactly what I did. For example, the honey brand, right? I went and found a product that had ambiguous value, that I could just put some good branding on and do some good marketing for, and, you know, suddenly made 15K in 3 months. So it's not super complicated. It's really not super complicated. So just yeah, get stuck in, find a product that meets the criteria that we mentioned: ambiguous value, £5 or less, appeals to a wide audience, easy for affiliates to promote, is a repeatable purchase product, it's somewhat easy to ship, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then check your competition. Also analyze, like, when you are scrolling on TikTok or anywhere you see an ad, just like analyze that. Oh, I'm being shown this ad. What if I had this business, you know? How much does this actually cost to produce? How much are they selling it for? And that's what kind of opens my brain up to opportunities and getting excited to actually take action and start something.
Brilliant, thanks for that. Someone's asking, on TikTok, when you're selling a product and there's a wave or there's a trend, is that a thing to go for, or would you just buy something, ride the wave and move on to the next product? Like, what would you do?
Yes and no. So I've seen the rise and fall of loads of trends. So as an example, right, Shilajit. When we launched that 3 years ago, if you were within 4, 5, 6 months of our launch and you launched another Shilajit brand, you would probably also have a 6-figure business. However, if you launch a Shilajit brand now on TikTok Shop, chances of you succeeding is like 1%, just because that trend has gone. Everyone knows what Shilajit is, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of brands out there. So yes, there are trends that I would and wouldn't avoid. The only way you could be aware of what to avoid and what to do is you have to spend a lot of time just looking at competition and keeping your eyes on several markets. So I've always got my eyes on what cosmetics products are being released and what food supplements are coming out and all that kind of stuff. So it's not something that you can just use software to tell you. Like, you have to kind of just have a know of what's going on in the e-com industry for that specific category of product you want to launch. That's a tough question. But
How did you get started?
how did I get started?
No,
That
how did you get started?
me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my first brand I lost a lot of money on. It was actually it was in the presentation, it was the hair oil brand. So I made all the big mistakes on that. I used to just be a delivery driver, a takeaway, and saved up all my money and spent too much time on formulating something to be perfect, which was the hair oil. Spent like £17,000 on formulation, took over 2.5 years to get the product. Whereas if I could go back in time, I wish I spent a few £1,000s on buying a pre-existing formula and launching in like 3, 4, 5 months. I missed the boat with that brand by like 2 years because it took me so long to launch. There were so many other brands that got onto TikTok Shop with hair oil before I did. But that was fine because by the time I had launched the hair oil, anyways, I had some other brands which were doing quite well. But yeah, that's how I started. It was actually hair oil because I couldn't grow a beard. So yeah, it was a passion brand, I would say, my first one.
Thanks, brilliant. Tips on how to learn to make good content, editing and stuff for a beginner with zero skills.
Okay, really good question. So I've trained over 1,000 affiliates. So I've trained so many affiliate creators. So believe me when I say the best way to learn is find a creator who you're interested in that makes good content. You know, you obviously find them entertaining and copy their videos exactly. When I say exactly, there's a lot of things which people subconsciously don't think about. It will be like, how good is the lighting? What did they say? How fast was their hook? What was their hook? How many scenes did they use? If you watch some of the top performing TikTok videos, generally a 20-second video might have like 15 different scenes in it, but you don't realize that the creators put 15 different camera angles and trims and edits into it. So just find a high quality content creator, you know, people who are regularly posting videos that get tens of thousands of views, and just do your absolute best to copy everything, even the script. It's not bad for you to copy the script. In fact, the top affiliates on the platform, they all copy each other. So that's my recommendation on how to make good content. Go out there, see what's working, and copy it exactly.
Just started affiliate. It's not easy. Need to make 3 videos each item, and I have no content already. Do you go on?
Yeah, it's obviously not easy. At the start, it's really hard to build traction, but again, it's one of those things that you do need consistency with. Even myself and Sue, you know, we consistently post content. We do live streams a lot. Not every single one does well, you know. It does take time to get there, but if you're doing the right thing over and over again, you absolutely will make it work.
Do you recommend private label supplements?
Yeah, so supplements, couple of things. So supplements is something I would consider high risk, high reward. So there's supplement brands that launch and they smash it. When they do it everything correctly, they become huge. So I've worked with some of the biggest supplement brands on the platform. So I know this, but I also know of many supplement brands who launched and they failed. So it is a tricky one to do correctly because especially on TikTok, there's a lot of regulations, especially from the algorithm. The AI will give creators violations, or even your own main page content can get violations when promoting supplements because it's just highly regulated on TikTok. So it's just something to be aware of. But I would say yes, supplement is high risk, high reward. You can definitely make it work, but like I said, there's a higher risk in supplements to failing compared to some other categories, in my opinion.
Private label versus white label.
I would depends on the product, and in most cases, white label would be my choice.
Okay, this is a good one. Deciding between OA and Amazon, OA and Amazon to Amazon to start, what would you recommend? So, if you're a new seller trying to sell and trying to start an online business, if you're predominantly just focused on Amazon and reselling, the problem that you're going to face at the beginning is you're going to spend thousands of pounds in stock just to get ungated on some of the major brands. And what's going to happen is you're going to give these invoices to Amazon, and what I've seen is 90% of the invoices are getting declined by Amazon. So then you can't sell the product, you can't get ungated on it, and now you're just stuck with a load of product. Especially if you bought it from a wholesaler, you're just stuck with loads of products. So that is the problem with doing reselling. But if you do private label, you don't have these problems. You can launch a brand, you need a trademark, you make your own listings, you don't have to compete with anybody who's on the listing. So yeah. What's the minimum units I can send to FBA? You can send 1 unit if you really wanted to, but it's probably not cost effective. Where can I access the webinar? The webinar is on YouTube, Side Hustle Sue. You can watch it back as well if you've missed it. What product would you recommend to start which is beginner friendly?
Good question. There's the thing is, there's thousands of opportunities out there. So like we've been mentoring students since last year, and the students have come up with hundreds of good ideas which have been approved. So there's more opportunities out there than you can imagine. Best categories, again, I'd say it's personal preference. Some people like higher risk and they'll go for a competitive market, something in food supplements, or you can go down a less competitive market, do something in cosmetics with a new kind of product. So there's a lot of new skincare things which come out every 6 months to a year, even less than that, which start to trend. So some students go down that route, which also works. And yeah, there's some other categories as well which do really well, but obviously I do reserve the best ideas for our students.
Do you think supplements is saturated?
Depends which supplement. So yes, there's going to be, if you want to launch like Sue is like creatine, you'll find there's like hundreds of creatine brands out there. So it depends on the supplement. I've launched supplements and I've seen new supplements being launched where there's little competition. So for example, when we did Shilajit 3 years ago, there was barely any competition for that supplement. Whereas now, there's hundreds. So just depends on which supplement you launch.
Is it mandatory to trademark before listing on Amazon if you are going through the private label route? I would recommend you do so, just so you have what's the word? Control over your listing and it doesn't get hijacked. What's been one of your biggest successful products on Amazon? That's a good question. I can check. Oop, wrong one. Yamin, what's been your most successful product on Amazon?
What? Wholesale or private label?
Any?
Wholesale, I can't say, but on private label, yeah, it was probably like when we were doing it, it was Shilajit. That was the biggest one.
Mine is a baking ingredient, and it's my own listing. Yeah, interesting one. building a brand to go international, would you need a lot of knowledge or passion for something? Passion definitely helps, I think, if you're launching something. Knowledge as well. If you know the industry inside and out, especially if you're doing content, you're doing lives, you'll be able to speak about it naturally and you'll be good at it. So one of the examples is the person that's going to be doing my lives is massively into fitness. He loves fitness. He lives and breathes fitness. So he'd be the perfect ideal candidate to talk about the product. He loves it so much. So yeah. What influenced you to find a baking product? So a lot of the products I sell is literally data. Like the data made sense, and I sold it. So yeah, a lot of the stuff I didn't really have a passion for. I have no idea how it works, but I just saw an opportunity and I went for it and I gave it a go. I mean, yeah, that's one of my products that did well, but there's tons of products that didn't do well, and you probably don't hear about them, and I probably don't talk about them. So yeah, you have to give it a go and try sometimes. Can you also help me how to start a business step by step? Yes, what you can do is click the link in the bio. You can book a free call and we can give you some advice, or we can work with you and help you launch your own brand. Where in China do you buy from? I don't know the exact locations, but we have someone on board in our community who sources the products from China. He has agents on the ground over there. What if you want to be a hidden business owner, i.e. no one knows it's yours? Yeah, you can absolutely do that, and I'm probably going to do that with my product as well. You probably won't see my face on there. You'll see other people's face, maybe some faceless content, but I won't be on there. Nice. I think sourcing agent is the best. Taobao 1886 are other ways. I think Alibaba is probably the most popular. What's the biggest setback you had and how did you overcome it? I actually got suspended on Amazon. I had like £8,000 worth of stock and like £7,000 waiting to be paid out to me. And how did I overcome it? I mean, the first time I got suspended, I never got my account back. But the second time, I was persistent and I kept trying. I created cases, I hired Amazon lawyers, and eventually went to mediation and I got my account back. So yeah, I think with e-commerce, I mean in business in general, persistence and just trying hard and not giving up is probably the trait that you'll find all the most successful e-commerce owners have. What kind of products would you recommend to sell? FMCG, right? Fast moving consumer goods, stuff that people use every day.
Yeah. FMCG is a great category to go down.
Tips on creating attractive listing on Amazon. Reviews, A+ content, listing optimization with the keywords, good images. Images are like key. If you got a video in there, massive bonus. But Amazon really likes velocity. If you can get a lot of sales through, I mean, one of the tricks with Amazon, right? If you can get sales from outside of Amazon, so what that means is people searching for your product who are coming from outside of Amazon, Amazon really rewards that. And the more sales you get like this, the more reviews you get, the lower your BSR, the more sales you'll start to get organically. I think that is the best way. I'm on a bit of a tangent there. What's more beginner friendly, PL or reselling? I honestly think PL is more beginner friendly. There's so many things to go wrong with reselling. Listings going down, authorization, fake products. I just had an email whilst we was on this webinar that someone's complained that my product's fake. So like, yeah, these are the problems you have when you're trying to resell on Amazon. I mean, no doubt it's a brilliant business model, but it comes with its flaws. But I think for beginners, to save yourself the hassle, is just better to do PL, in my opinion. I think so. Average percentage that TikTok shop takes?
9% platform fee.
9% platform fee, okay. I'm a 16-year-old TikTok shop affiliate. I've done it for a year. Haven't made much, but I've learned some skills. That's a win-win for me.
That is good.
You learned some skills. Brilliant. Is it best to use a product already and put your name on it, or to design a new product completely?
Depends on products.
Depends on the products. 9% only. Yeah, it's crazy how cheap TikTok is to sell on.
Yeah, it used to be free when TikTok Shop came out. It used to be free.
Wow.
Then they made it, I think they made it 5%, and then it was 7%, and then 9%.
Halal Talo is asking, if I show you my new product, can you rate my design and predict if it will do well or not? If you want us to look at your product, you can either book a call and you can show us. Yeah, I think that'll be the best way. Click the link in the bio, book a call, and you can show us, and we can give you some free advice.
I think I know Halal Tallow.
Is it?
I do know somebody who's got a brand that sells Halal Tallow.
So we need to take pictures for a listing or retailer provides us. I can completely no idea. What would you do, Yamin? Would you take pictures yourself or use the pictures that the retailer provides you?
Take pictures yourself, really. Especially with AI.
Yeah, it's
You
so
can-
easy now, yeah.
Yeah, AI's advanced so much the last couple of months. You'll get better images.
Is it possible to create a luxury product on TikTok?
I mean, do you mean market a luxury product on TikTok? You can obviously create a luxury product on your own. Yeah, you can market a luxury product on TikTok. Absolutely. One thing you can't do, I will say on TikTok Shop, is you can't do jewelry, high-end jewelry. It's just you can't do precious metals. That wouldn't work.
Awesome, guys. Any last questions before we call it? Right. If you made it to the end of this video, we actually on the last webinar gave away a mentoring for free, and what actually happened is the guy didn't even join. So we're gonna re-roll it. We're gonna get someone in on our next cohort. All you have to do is reply to one of my emails with the brand name that I'm launching, and there was a screenshot in this webinar somewhere. So if you do find this, email me, and then we'll be picking a winner next week. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, guys. And don't forget to click the link in the bio, book your free call. Bye.
Bye-bye.